I'll be in the video.
Okay, there you go.
Alright, guys, UOttawaScotty here. Welcome to my first screen printing video. This video is a huge fail. I had no idea what I'm doing, and I just thought I'd document all my mistakes, because there are a lot of them. This video is pretty much just mistakes. So, anyways, I'm confident that I will be able to get it, do a good job, but I still have a lot to learn, and still very interesting. So let's get into this video. Put this girl down. Huh? Okay. All right. See you soon. Understand, I'm not an expert. Nowhere near. I have no idea what I'm doing here. So, yeah. Alright, we're going to start this video off by just having a look at some of the print-on-demand stuff that I got from Spreadshirt, which is affiliated with YouTube. I'm not sure what this is. It's some kind of a transfer, or I'm not sure what this is, but it's, and here's a hoodie, the same kind of thing. This stuff washes off in the washing machine after like one wash. So let's get right into the screen printing. This is a Canon TR4725 printer that I bought from Walmart, which is a mid-tier consumer grade printer. One of the things you'll find interesting here is, if you can see, the ink here is wet, and the transparencies that I have that I'm printing on have a print side. And here you can see when the printer prints on the side that's supposed to be printed on, the ink is dry. But if you print on the other side, it stays wet and it doesn't dry like that. Over here, I left this transparency for a week and that ink never dried. The other thing to note with this consumer grade printer is that the printing is not fully, it doesn't block the light fully. So you can see there's like little lines there that the light can still get through. This is a very high quality transparency that's printed from a professional screen printing place, and you can see the difference here. It's just completely dark, very sharp image. Here's a Royal LePage, whatever. Design here, and you can see that it's just very sharp. So was pretty concerned that my printer wasn't going to be able to print sufficiently for the screen printing process, but I was actually wrong about that. It actually worked out just fine. So if you're wondering about that, you can get away with a consumer grade printer. It works just fine. And here's some screens that I'm going through, and just showing you the really fine mesh here. It's almost so fine that I can't pick it up with my camera. This is an example of a really well burned in screen, and just very clear, sharp image. This was professionally printed, or burned in, I should say. And here what I'm doing is I'm trying to take some of these old screens that I have, and I'm using this Tech 401C, which is a photo emulsion remover from this company Technical, which is located in Rockland, Ontario. Emulsion remover concentrate. So the ratio is 1:20. So this is my first time using this. I have no idea what it's going to do, but I've mixed it with water. And here's a nice little brush, expensive brush that I bought that's supposed to be for screen printing. So just laying the old screens out on the lawn here, and we'll get right into applying some of this emulsion remover. The blue material you see here on the screen is the emulsion, which dries hard. Fairly interesting process. It's it reacts to ultraviolet light and hardens, cures in light. So you kind of see where we're going here with the transparencies and stuff. But anyways, trying to clean these screens off here. As you're watching this is the first time that I'm doing everything, so fairly interesting. You can see the emulsion starting to come off, and this happens immediately. Really interesting how that happens, actually. So I start putting some of this emulsion remover on some of the other screens, and we're going to use the pressure washer to clean these off. And as you can see here, this is after about a period of maybe a minute, and that stuff works really quickly. These are old screens with old emulsion, so that was really quite cured on there, really good. But as you can see, it doesn't get it all off, but there's emulsion on the back too, on the back of the screen, and you'll see why that is. And once I get to using the scoop coater to coat the screen with the emulsion. Anyways, the pressure washer working pretty good here. This is an older screen, and the ink that was used with this screen was left on it, and so the emulsion remover is doing a really good job getting rid of the emulsion, but the old ink is still remains. So I've yet to clean that particular screen off, just because there's a bunch of old ink in there, and I was told that will come off with thinner, paint thinner, so I'll maybe try cleaning that screen at a later time. Anyways, continuing with these two here. And so now I've turned the screens over and applying the emulsion remover to the back of the screen. And now you can see when I hit it with the pressure washer, the screen comes out really nice and clean. Now it's not ready yet to apply the emulsion. I was told that you have to prepare the screen with a degreaser of some kind. Now there are some commercial degreasers available from this company called Technical, but the owner of the company said I could just use soap and water. So that's what I'm going to use here. And I later learned that if you don't do this, there are certain parts of the screen that will be slightly greasy. I guess that would be from touching it with your hands, or who knows. But this emulsion stuff is very sensitive to oils and greases, apparently. And you can kind of see that. There was a couple tiny little spots that weren't totally clean. Oh, and we have a rainstorm here. Rain's coming down hard. And if you watch my videos from last week, you'll know that I completed the tent trailer roof, and here's those screens, all really nice. And I think I'm going to look out the window in just a second here, just to see how my tent trailer roof is holding up. But those screens came out nice and clean. That rain's coming down really hard, and here we have the tent trailer roof. If you missed that video, check back from last week. That is a pool liner, and I built that whole roof from scratch, and it's working great. So anyways, back to this. The next thing we're going to do here is get prepared to burn in the screen. What we need to do is get a piece of foam to put the frame in. So I'm just cutting a piece of foam to size here. And what this is going to do, this is going to go inside the frame, and it's going to create, it's going to make it so that the transparency, when it's sitting on top of the frame, has a positive connection to the screen. So you don't want any light getting around the transparency. So I'll put the screen on top of this piece of foam here. It fits really nice, sort of. It fits good. Alright. Nice and solid. These screens are extremely high tension. Almost like a tennis racket almost. You could probably bounce a ball off of it. So here we are. I'm using I've got the transparency on top of the screen, and then I put a piece of glass. That piece of glass is from a picture frame, a very thin glass. And here you see this transparency that I printed like a week ago, and that ink is still wet. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so now we're on to working with the emulsion. This is what it looks like. It comes in this black container, and there's something here called a diazo, which is a particular style of compound that I believe is a catalyst of some kind. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I've had a really hard time finding information on how to use this stuff. I actually was able to download a data sheet, but the instructions were really not very good, and I found the data sheet to be pretty sparse as well. So kind of just doing this on my own and without too much direction and not having a clue what to expect here. In this bottle there's like a fine powder at the bottom. There's no liquid in this bottle. It's very light. It's just a few grains of powder in the bottom of this bottle, which is supposedly the diazo. Okay, we're gonna put in this diazo mix into the emulsion, and we're supposed to mix it up, and it's supposed to turn green. And when it turns green, we will know that it's ready to use. So we'll see what happens here. I found it wasn't the easiest to mix. It's got a real thick consistency to it, whereas the diazo is very, well, it's water, so it's sort of difficult to mix, but you just gotta get in there, and it takes a while, but okay, here we are after about maybe 5 minutes of mixing this up here. It's a nice consistent green color and ready to use. So put the lid back on, keep the light from hitting it, and what I've done here, what I'm showing you guys here is a doubled up transparency. So I've printed two transparencies and taped them together just to make the transparency a bit darker, more like the professional. And here what I'm doing is cleaning the screens with soap and water, which was recommended just to prepare the screens for the photo emulsion. And I think this is probably a pretty crucial step, because I did notice when I was putting the emulsion on that there were a couple little spots where it was starting to like fisheye a little bit, and I believe that that was due to just some contaminants on the screen. So I think having a really good clean screen is pretty crucial for getting a good getting the emulsion to a nice even coating. Now we're just going to wash the screens with the pressure washer. And I found the screens, when they have water in them, are really good at holding water, which, you know, is sort of like what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to hold material in the screen. So anyways, I am just with the compressor trying to speed things up by blowing the screen out here. Alright, we're got all the screens, all water out of the screens, and just gonna set them up beside the motorhome here so that they can dry in the sun and are nice and dry. And here's a look at the actual quote shop, which is a shed. This is my garden shed. And the emulsion has to be applied in a dark room with a yellow light. And I was told that is just has to be a yellow color light, and presumably there's no UV in that wavelength. So anyways, I've just got one of my stage lights here that's a LED, cheap Chinese LED thing, and got some yellow light in the shed here, and we are going to try applying the emulsion to the screen now. Another look at my little workspace here. Okay, opening the bucket here and sort of scooping this into the this tool called a scoop coater, and it's a fairly nifty tool. It's like an aluminum trough that is a, you know, it's a really precise aluminum trough that is used to apply the emulsion to the screen in a very even way, and you'll see how that works in just a second here. I didn't want to pour it in there because the bucket is so full. I would have got this stuff everywhere. Of course, I managed to get it everywhere anyways, so it didn't really matter in the end. But here we are. Got the screen at a slight angle, and I'm just going to place the scoop coater against the screen and sort of at a 45-degree angle until the emulsion touches the screen, and then bring it up. That was my first time doing that, and I'm fairly surprised at how well that worked. So I'm going to do that on both sides. So now you realize earlier when we were cleaning the screen why we had to apply that photo emulsion remover to both sides of the screen, just because well, it is recommended to do both sides of the screen to get a good coat of emulsion. So really this part of the process is very satisfying, I must say. I like the sound that the scoop coater makes against the screen, and I like how it looks when when the emulsion is on there. It's nice and glossy and shiny. I don't know, there's something about that whole process and using the scoop coater that's really satisfying. So I'm going to do this one more time. I'm just going to make 2 screens here just in case I mess one up. Chances are good that I will mess one up. So there's the front done, and we'll do the back. Now I put a few too many coats on this one. I tried to put 2 coats on the front and 2 coats on the back, and that was not necessary. 1 coat on the front and 1 on the back is sufficient, and I think 2 coats on the front and on the back is too much. And here we've got the fan going. This is sort of a interesting part of the process here, and pretty crucial. This emulsion has to dry onto the screen, but of course it's not curing yet because it's not in the light yet, or UV light I should say. It's okay for it to be in yellow light, but it has to be dry to the touch so that the transparency can go on top of it, but also not cured yet. So that part of the process I experimented with quite a lot. I found that leaving those for an hour with the fan on them in the dark was about right, and Zoe's coming down here. Are you helping Daddy? Are you helping? Do you want to see? You want to check it out? You want to check out what's going on in there? You want to go into the garbage can? Okay, so this is fairly interesting. So I've got a total of 200 watts of halogen lights shining down onto this. I've got the foam underneath, and what that piece of glass that you're looking at, that's a really crucial part to this. That is a weight scale that I bought from Value Village. I didn't like the glass that was out of the picture frame. It was too thin and flimsy and prone to breaking. This is much more strong. I'm not sure what type of glass this is. I would imagine like Pyrex or something, but it's heavy as well, so it really creates a good downward force on that transparency, making it so that the light can't get around the edges of the transparency. So fairly good setup here, and I've just got it on a little IKEA side table here, and this part of it, well, actually this was the result of my first attempt. I used the pressure washer to clean that out. Obviously it was too much pressure, and I think this probably would have turned out okay if I hadn't have used the pressure washer to clean that off, plus let the emulsion cure for a little longer. I found that that part needed about an hour. Since making this video, I have perfected that process. I've actually already printed shirts since making this video, and I'm very happy with it. This screen was erased and done again. I made, I think, about a total of 5 screens before I got this correct, and here's another one. This one went horribly, actually. So I'm not even going to explain what my thought process was behind this one, but anyways, I think what I tried to do with this one is let the photo emulsion be a little bit less dry before I put the transparency on, and it just was a disaster. This I'm being more gentle with this one because the pressure washer was too aggressive, but as you can see, it's not really coming out very well. And I'm going to turn this around in a second. I'm just basically just going to wash all of the emulsion off the screen. So huge fail on this one. The emulsion is really water sensitive too. As soon as you hit it with water, it starts to sort of like soften up. But you know, this stuff gets really hard in the light, but as soon as water hits it, it really starts to soften up. So really interesting, actually, chemical process. And you know, water being one of the main things to use in this process is fairly interesting. So that image is not coming through at all. So in a moment here, I'm going to turn this around and try and wash it off from the other side. And that's where things go really wrong. And I just start washing all the emulsion off. So these are two fails for the screen burning process. Rest assured, I have perfected this. There you go. So that did not work. Anyways, since making this video, I have gotten a lot better at this and made a screen, a really nice screen, and also printed some shirts, which I'm fairly happy with. So stay tuned to my channel. I'm going to make a part 2 video, and you're going to see the results of all this experimentation. So that really did not go very well at all. Alright guys, thanks for joining me for this video. It's been a fun one, and what an adventure here. As you can see, I'm kind of jumping to part 2 right now. We've got lots of shirts made. I'm very happy. Let's see if I can pick out one that's good here. Definitely not perfect, but actually here's one that I made. Nice kind of tropical design, and I've got UOttawaScotty on the back here. So, let's see, I got these real cool purple shirts, and check that out. Check that out. Not too bad. It looked turned out pretty good. So I've got about 13 shirts here and one hoodie, I think. Just a experimental pass here. These are not for sale yet. They have to go through the wash. I'm going to put them through the washing machine, see how they perform in the wash here. I might kind of give some away here to some friends, or maybe I might sell a couple of them for like maybe 15 bucks each or something like that, just to recoup my costs for the shirts themselves. And the next step is to buy some real good quality shirts. I'm looking to get some Gildan shirts and hoodies, and I think I'm ready at this point to start printing shirts. So it's been an adventure, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video, and please like and subscribe and share. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube for screen printing, but not a lot of videos like this that just show the actual nuts and bolts of making all these mistakes and trying to figure my way out through it. So I hope you enjoy that style of video. None of it was really planned out. So yeah, guys, thanks for hanging, and you have some really cool merchandise coming down the tube to look forward to, as well as you know, the world is open now in terms of different designs and, you know, whatever. You know, we're going to get some Table 19 merch now. We're going to get some Freedom apparel happening as soon as possible. And guys, thanks for tuning in. And again, please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you in the next video.